it's Kyle Baley again. We're going to do another Dimecast, this time on the Sharp Architecture open source project. This is a project that will allow you to get up and running really quickly with MVC applications against NHibernate, provided you agree with the way it generates applications, and for the moment I do. Then this can get you up and running really quickly. There's the project. It's on Google Code. You can read this just as easy as I can. We're going to dive into what it actually does. First thing you do with Sharp Architecture project, new project, and it includes a template that you can use to generate some base projects. Type in the name of your application, click OK, and it'll go ahead and create. I'm not going to do it now because it takes a few seconds to create, and I've only got 10 minutes, so give me a break here. It'll create all these projects. A web project containing all your views, test project, which we'll get to in just a moment, your data for your data access, domain, and a separate project for the controllers. It was the Sharp Architecture's project leader, Billy McCafferty, his feeling that controllers should be in a separate project. And I'm tending to agree with him more and more based on the work here. You got some code generation. Yeah, don't get your panties in a bunch there. It's good stuff there. You don't have to generate the templates for you. It works really well. We'll get to that in just a moment. The first thing you need to do, well, technically the only thing you need to do after you've created the project is go to the NHibernate config file, put in your change your connection string to whatever it's supposed to do. Don't do this at home, kids. Shouldn't be using the SA password, but it's my demo, not yours. And compile the project. That's all you need to do. When you're done, that will give you not this screen here, which is a preview of what you're going to see shortly, but it'll give you this home controller index page, similar to what you get with the base template for MVC. So it's a home controller. There's the default index action for it. We're going to expand on that in just a moment. You don't get the about or the login stuff that you normally get with MVC because, well, you don't really need it. Let's take a look at this test project here. Let's actually run our tests. You get some default tests that come with it. I'm going to create a new session because that's got some old stuff in there. And the tests are actually going to fail because at the time of writing, there's a small error in here that I have no doubt will be fixed by the time you view this. So let's actually run that again. We have two tests executing here. Okay? First one, you can test your routes or your routes, depending on if you're from Canada or the US. By default, we've only got one route. It's the default one. We should verify that the default one will map to the home controller and to the index action. Okay? This is using MVC contrib, one of the later versions, got the route testing features added by Ben Shireman, and makes testing your routes that much easier. Okay, and here we can see that you can add more routes to test as you add your functionality. If my ambition notwithstanding, we're going to do another Dimecast that adds some search capabilities to this application. Okay, the next test that we have is testing to see if the actual database that we're using matches the map. You'll see this in action a little bit later, but it's pretty useful. So far we don't have any mappings to map to, so this isn't going to do much. Let's go back to this scaffolding here. The scaffolding generator uses the T4 toolbox, which right now doesn't work very well with Visual SVN. Just as a side note there, I'm getting errors related to problems that Visual SVN also had with ActiveWriter. They're not Visual SVN's problems. This generator needs to be fixed somehow, and I'm hoping by the time you're seeing this that it's been done. you don't need to get into inner workings. Basically, there's enough to get you started here. I'm going to create a domain object called song. It's going to have a title. It's going to have an artist, which is also a string. It's going to have an album. Be careful when you're generating these templates here. As soon as you click save, it's going to go off and do stuff. So if you're called away and you have a default of pressing Control S, fight that impulse. This is sort of my default sample application. It's just basically a database with a single table, songs, has title, artist, album. Okay. And as soon as you click save here, it's going to generate a whole bunch of stuff here. We've got some views, we've got our domain object, we have some tests created, some mapping files. Now, again, at the time that I'm doing this, there's some problem. These have actually been moved to the correct locations. So if I try to open them here, they're actually gone. So we need to actually take them out here because they don't exist in this location anymore. They've actually been created in their correct locations here, but they haven't been added to the project. Right now you need to manually go in and include them in the project. Each of the files that get created. This is a known issue, and I have no doubt, again, that it'll be addressed very shortly. Meantime, how's the weather where you guys are? Okay. What that scaffolding does is create a bunch of views for creating, listing, editing, deleting, working with that domain object. Let's run our tests, because now we have some domain objects that need to map to the database. Okay, so now let's rebuild that sucker first. And we've got a lot more tests included with that scaffolding. You're going to see that our database does not actually map to our match our mappings. Okay, so our tests failed there. Let's go in to see our song map. This is using Fluent and Hibernate, and the reason this doesn't match is because the column names are actually different than the domain properties. Just the ID and the title. These other ones match here. Now this is using Fluent and Hibernate, which does have auto mapping capabilities, but you have to have a convention that I don't really follow just yet. So we have to map these things sort of manually for now, but certainly better than you do with XML files. Let's run our test again. And all is good. What do we get with that? We get the CRUD operations. We can get a list of songs. We can get the details for a song. We can edit details for a song. Change this ampersand to an and. Put in an extra space. So it's pretty powerful right out of the box, all tested theoretically, not quite. I mean, you've got this song test here that's being ignored. Okay, this just basically gives you a framework for testing whether songs are equal to one another. One of the features of Sharp architecture is that you can define equality based on attributes. Here's a domain signature attribute. And what this is telling us is that if the song has the same title and artist as another song, they're equal. Not crazy accurate, but good for demonstration purposes. This flight tonight, and you think I'm going to put Nazareth in there, but I'm not going to. Whoops. So if you have two songs with the same title and artist, they should be equals. two different instances. Personally, I'd like to see a failing test in there, say that if the artist or the title differ, then they should not be equal. And you can see that here. This should be a failing test now. And it is. But I'll be making that suggestion. Hopefully it'll be in there fairly soon. Next dimecast I do on this will have some search capabilities. We'll build out a search page that will basically find songs on different criteria using NHibernate. Hope this was helpful, and we'll see you guys later.